Welcome, everyone, to DCR Out Loud. My name is Tara McKinney. I'm the Public Outreach Director of the Division of Cannabis Regulation. Hey, Shayna, how's it going?
Hey, Tara. I'm good. My name is Shayna Art. I am the Director for Patient and Application Services, and I am back in the co-host seat. Feels good.
Yeah, glad to have you. We are here recording. It's mid-September. We are officially in what I've heard on TikTok, the burr months. So September, October, November, December.
Oh, I love that. I prefer spooky season, but I do like the burr months. It's appropriate with the weather, right?
Yeah. And I'm definitely ready for the burr. Nothing too cold, but definitely not 90 degrees would be great.
Yeah. I think we're all ready for fall and sweater weather. I'm ready for sweater weather. Sweater weather. I have so many cute ones. I'm just ready to bust them out.
So I mentioned that we are recording. So this podcast is pre-recorded. And so sometimes, because it is pre-recorded, we have to get approvals, all that stuff. And so sometimes it may sound like we're talking in the past, which we are. Doesn't mean that it's not any more relevant, but just keep that in thought if we're having a meeting on whatever date.
And it was
and
last
that date's
week.
passed.
Yeah.
We're sorry about that, but that's just part of having a pre-recorded podcast.
Right. We try to do our best to edit things out, but, time marches on and sometimes it's not possible to catch everything. And, so if you hear something and you're like, that was last week, that's okay. We still feel like it's valid, relevant information, or we would have taken it out. So even if it is in the past, it's more for you to know. It's all good.
Right. And that's also, just goes hand in hand with everything that we put on the podcast. We try to ensure that it's as accurate as possible at that point in time. But because we are in an industry that's always changing rapidly, everybody knows that about cannabis regulation. Sometimes it's best to not just rely solely and wholly on DCR Out Loud as your information point.
Exactly. We're an excellent starting point, but it is always best to check with your compliance officer, business licensing specialist, packaging and labeling, especially if you've got specific facility questions. It's usually case by case. So we are a good source, truly. But if you have very specific questions, it is best to just reach out.
That's exactly right. All right. What are we getting into today? What's on the lineup?
Ooh, well, I'm actually going to be stealing the host seat from you and asking you about what you do here, which is going to be really exciting because I don't think we've actually interviewed you yet for the podcast. You've been busy interviewing everyone else. So we're going to switch that role. And we'll be talking to Adam Werdy about variety packs. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how patients can look up their allotments. We'll have micro minutes with Lesley and some updates.
Are you ready to get to it?
I'm ready. Are you?
Let's do it.
Let's go. It's time to talk about variety packs. There was a variance issued on August 15th regarding variety packs of certain edible marijuana-infused products.
After hearing from licensees in several different avenues, this was something that DCR leadership and team members worked together to see if this could be allowed within rule. They determined it was in certain situations, and so we're here to talk about that today.
That's right. And today we have Adam Werdy, Compliance Team Supervisor, to discuss it with us. Hi, Adam.
Hi, guys. How y'all doing today?
Pretty good. Can you introduce yourself for the fabulous listeners?
Oh, yeah. As you said, I'm Adam Werdy. I'm the Compliance Team Supervisor. I've been with DCR about 5 years now. Been with the state over 13 years. And other than that, I am excited to be here and making my debut.
Yeah, thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about this variance.
Well, you guys kind of touched base on it already, but you've kind of said that after discussion, it was determined that DCR would go ahead and grant a variance for the requirement. I'm going to read it verbatim just to make sure everybody has a clear understanding for 19 CSR 100-1.10110. 5BF. And what that is whereas allows manufacturing to be considered compliance with the rule by complying with alternate requirements for variety packs for certain edible marijuana infused products that include a minimal variation, basically such as the variation in flavor colorings.
So tell us, what is a variety pack?
Well, it is a package of edible marijuana items, which is the same product type, but it contains different flavors of colors, each one of them having the same volume surface area. So basically, it's all the same product in the package, but different colors. Real easy to put on there. A lot of times, some people will equate it. Example that I've been using recently is like Starburst, like the candy Starburst, where you have different colors in there, like red, blue, and yellow, and then it kind of comes in different variety of when you grab a handful of those to see what you pull out of there.
What does this mean for licensees? What does this new variance mean for them?
We wanted to make sure that everybody's has a clear understanding of what we were looking at as far as the variety pack and stuff. So it allows like I talked about before, certain edible marijuana-infused products, such as multi-flavored gummies and multicolored chocolate candies, to be made now and put in packages. And we clear it up to ensure that everybody has a clear understanding what is allowed and what is not allowed by regulations. So basically, if a licensee intends to have a variety pack, they would have like gummies in the package. Like say if they want to have 3 gummies in there, it would be like they could have a flavor of blue, red, or yellow gummies in there. But they must be produced by using the same ingredients, the same standard operating procedures, and the harvest lots. However, if they use different flavoring or dyes, this is what causes the variation of color, and that's what makes the variety pack.
So basically, it comes down to a process lot.
When we're dealing with process lots, it's where once a production is complete, that any amount of marijuana concentrate or marijuana extract, it comes from the same type and processed at the same extraction methods, procedures, and comes from the same harvest lots. One thing I will add is that once you get the variety pack and it's all put in there together, you want to make sure you combine the process lots of gummies together prior to getting sampled for testing and stuff. So you'll have the red gummy, you'll have the blue gummy, and you'll have the yellow gummy. They'll mix them all together into a big tin or big bend or whatever they're putting in there, so that when the sampler comes in to take it, they're making sure they get a representative sample of all the gummies.
So how does a licensee go about getting approval for a variety pack?
Well, and that's the same. It's similar to most like all packaging and labeling. You just submit your approval process through the packaging and labeling email, and then it'd be reviewed, and they'll make the determination whether it's going to be allowed or not. If it gets denied, then you'll have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what needs to be done, and they'll explain why it got denied. If it gets approved because you've met all the proper standards for this variance, then you're able to move on and go from there and stuff. So one thing I will say is that one of the reasons that we've decided to do this is because we wanted to make sure that all manufacturing licenses have the same ability to produce the variety pack, so that everyone's basically on the same level and we have a clear understanding of what we're doing and stuff. So
yeah, and so there are some things that you can't do this with, like what are those items?
I want to make sure that everyone has a clear understanding that this does not apply to marijuana infused products that are to be vaporized or smoked, like basically inhaled products such as pre-rolls and vape cartridges. So you can't have a variety pack of pre-rolls, can't have a variety pack of vape cartridges. Like we've kind of talked about, this mainly deals with certain marijuana infused products such as gummies and multicolored chocolate candies. So
okay, primarily in the edible category for this variance.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share on this topic while we have you here?
No, I think it was a good thing that DCR listened to some of the feedback, and we wanted to provide good clarification on what was going on as far as ensuring that everybody has a clear understanding of what can and can't be made at manufacturing facilities. So that way, everybody's, like I said, everybody's on the same level and has the same opportunities to provide whatever product to the market.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of what the division always strives to do, is to take the feedback. If there are opportunities where we can make it fit and rule and it still meets all those health and safety standards, then we're going to look at it and take it into consideration and do what's needed.
And something like this feels like a win for everyone.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's one good thing about DCR, that they have, from what I've seen being here 5 years, they have taken feedback from the industry and been able to see what they can and cannot work with, and to see what can apply and see where we can hopefully benefit both parties to make a good product for the consumers, patients in Missouri.
Yeah, and thank you to the teams that came together, because I know there were several individuals involved in looking at this and looking at different ways and thoughts and coming together to work collaboratively to make it happen. So thank you to those teams. If you have any questions about your variety packs, what's the best way for them? Who's the best person to ask?
I would reach out to the compliance officer first. I mean, as you know, each licensee has their own assigned compliance officer, and you should know who they are by now. I mean, we did go through a recent reassignment, but I know our compliance officers have reached out and contacted the point of contact, and we've also been in the facility since then. So if there is any questions, reach out to the compliance officer, and if they don't know the answer, they'll get it for you, or they might point you in the right direction on what needs to be done. So we want to make sure that we're a resource here for if there's any questions, at least contact them, and then we can go from there.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, thanks for being on today. Anything else you want to tell our listeners?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you
right.
guys. I'm glad that I was here.
All right.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
joining us. Bye, Adam.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Okay, so first up, I'm going to take control of the podcast for a few minutes, Tara, and ask you about yourself. So, Tara, hi, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, this is so awkward.
Lean in.
I'm like, oh, we're writing this into our script. This is going to be unusual, but I am super excited to talk about what my position is.
I'm excited too. So, to get started, how long have you been with DCR?
This past July, I celebrated 2 years with DCR. There are days where it feels like it's been a really, really long time, and other days I feel like I just got here yesterday. One thing's for certain, though, is I absolutely love my position. I love my coworkers and staff and just what DCR does, as well as our licensees and helping the public. It's just been a really whirlwind opportunity for me because I've worked for Department of Health and Senior Services for 25 years. Makes me sound ancient.
Well, you can start when you're 14?
Yeah.
Just kidding. I know it's 18.
Yeah. I think I was like 12.
That tracks.
But I've been here a long time, and first program really that I've had the opportunity to be innovative and work alongside people that are all really excited about something that's new and upcoming. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, in 2 years, I think I agree with you on that feeling, because it's like I don't remember a time before you were here.
Aww.
I know I was there, but it just feels like you've always been with us. And 2 years, you can accomplish a lot. What all have you been up to?
My title is Public Outreach Director. I serve under Amy Moore and Erica Ziegler in the director's office. Basically, torture them with questions and problems all day long. But really, as the Public Outreach Director, I serve as the liaison between the division and our licensees, the public, any other stakeholders out there. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what does that translate to in real life? What does your daily, weekly routine look like?
Well, we have a few things that I do, like this podcast, the quarterly newsletter, but really keeping the industry and public in mind with all things that may impact them. Making sure that we're getting the education and information they need. So some of that is like visiting with licensees for feedback, running the MCRC, which is our collaborative work group, collaborating with other DCR staff on things that they are working on, projects, guidance, and variances, making sure that we're considering those impacts for the licensees. Just basically being that person who looks at things from the industry lens so we can consider impacts on them when we work on projects, variances, guidance, that sort of thing, which is not hard because Amy and Erica set that standard and expectation a long time ago. And I'm just continuing on those values in my current position and encouraging it. So it's really important to DCR that we're transparent and accessible. The hope is that it also makes our staff, DCR staff, jobs easier too. So that door swings both ways. Helping licensees get that feedback to DCR and helping DCR staff get that feedback to licensees so that we can help remove any barriers and just work together on education opportunities.
I think you are really integral to all of our operations here, even internally, because I know my team and we really communicate a lot with you. We get sometimes calls in the call center or emails that are out of our wheelhouse, and we always come to you first because we know you've got your finger on the pulse. You know what's going on. If it's nothing that you've heard of, we know it's new information. And then we also work with you on education pieces, making sure that those hit the mark, that's everything that we're looking for from a holistic point of view. And it really, I think, helps us be more effective too when we're reaching out to the ID card holders and licensees and all that. So yeah, even more than you said, you're involved in everything and it's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And I do appreciate that collaboration that we have too, because ultimately the hope is that it'll help make DCR staff job a little bit easier, because like with the agent IDs, like how do we get that information out there so that our licensees know what's going on, so that maybe there's less questions on the back end.
How do we
get it all out there.
seamlessly ask 16,000 people for fingerprints without disrupting the industry?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
well, and speaking of, the industry and us being a regulatory agency, you have a pretty unique position, right?
It is. So I co-chair a subcommittee with CANRA, which is a national organization. So all the cannabis regulators throughout the state, we meet that kind of have similar positions. But what was really interesting is when I first joined this group, they were like, "You do what?" Oh, that's really wild, because we don't have anything like that. They don't have that liaison style position designated for someone to really go out and work on liaison type things.
Yeah, build those relations and make sure, like you said, that door is swinging both ways.
Right.
Oh,
so they have comms and public education, things like that, but not really that liaison type.
Not like a person
style to serve as that mediator. So kind of cool that
That's very cool.
Missouri has prioritized that.
Knowing that this is a liaison style position, what are some examples of how you serve as that liaison?
Okay, so this is not all encompassing, but it really gives you an idea of things that I can facilitate. Those are things like meeting requests with DCR, director's office, DCR staff, leadership, that type of thing. Discussions and collaborations on decisions that impact the overall industry. So if you have something that you're thinking of that may impact the entire industry as a whole, those are the types of things that you can bring to me, and I can facilitate bringing other people to the table for that. Listening and conveying recommendations and feedback on new or emerging developments. So if there's something new going on out there that you think the division should be aware of, let's talk about that, and I can convey that down. Navigating licensees to the appropriate paths on difficult or complex questions. So let me hold your hand and lead you down the path, and we'll find an answer for you. Podcasts, newsletters, or MCR meeting topic recommendations. I've talked about that several times on this podcast, and I still want those topics coming. So let me know what you think everybody else needs to know too, and we'll find out. Public education needs requests or speaking engagements. If you have a community group or something in your area that you need a speaker for to talk about cannabis regulation, I'm your girl. I'll come down and do that for you. And then licensee facility visits as well.
Dang, that is quite a bit. That was a great rundown though.
Yeah.
Especially, given that this is a unique role in a regulatory environment, cannabis regulation environment, especially compared to other states. I think that's really interesting, and it sounds like you are very busy. You're always doing something, always connecting and helping people walk down the path that you're like, I know this path, let me help. So all of that being said, what is the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me is by email at tara.mckinney@health.mo.gov. Also, I've made a lot of visits around the state. If I haven't made it to your facility, not intentional at all. So I just kind of make my way around and randomly pick places to go. So if you would like me to come visit you, please let me know. Or we could set up a phone meeting and we can just talk that way. But really love the opportunity to be out and about. So if you see my email pop into your email box requesting a visit, please let me know if you're available and we'll make that happen. I do want to clarify that, of course, licensees should utilize their compliance officers, business license specialists, packaging and labeling specialists when it comes down to those facility compliance specific things. If there is a question outside of that's like bigger and broader, you can bring that to me. But really, if it's just a general question about is this compliant or not compliant, you really need to go to those specialists because they know what's going on.
Right. And they can get the information to them quicker than you could, even though you could be, a communication point. For specifics, it does make more sense to go to your compliance officer or your business licensing specialist.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, thanks for interviewing me.
Yeah, thank you for letting me interview you. I know it's been weird to be in the passenger seat, but thanks for letting me drive. And thanks for telling us about your role. The people need to know. They need to know who our glorious host is.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that this is pre-recorded because it was very awkward. And we did have to, do a couple takes on some things.
For sure. I personally loved it though. I loved the chaos. Well, thank you so much, Tara.
All right.
I'll hand the reins back to you now.
Yeah. Let's get on to our next topic, which is Micro Minutes with Lesley.
Well, hey, Lesley, what's going on in Micro Minutes?
Hey, I'm back. So exciting. I just found out today that we now have 10 approved to operate licenses in the microbusiness program.
That's awesome.
Is there like a beat we can add on here?
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's our audience cheer. That's amazing.
And we also have 3 that are in the process of commencement inspection. So yeah, things are moving along. It's really exciting.
That is exciting. Wow.
Of those 10, how many are wholesalers versus dispensaries?
I have 2 dispensaries that are approved to operate, and we have 8 wholesalers. The other 3 that are in the commencement inspection process are also wholesalers. So we're getting product growing and it's moving. So I expect to see a lot more dispensaries start requesting commencement inspection.
Okay. Yeah. So those 2 dispensaries, I'm sure folks listening are going to be interested in, where can I find this dispensary? Where are they at? Where can they find that information?
Surprisingly enough, it's on cannabis.mo.gov.
Amazing.
We have a dispensary map on there. You can access that and make sure that you're going to a licensed dispensary for all of your cannabis needs.
Awesome. And that map does include all of our licensed dispensaries, but now it also includes the micro business.
Yeah. Another exciting thing that we have
Very
happening
cool.
in the microbusiness program. In addition to working with microbusinesses every day, I talk to a lot of them all the time. I am making a conscious effort to go out and do some visits. I was able to go visit the 816 dispensary in Platte City, which was great. I have visited a couple of wholesalers. I have some more visits planned in October to go and see some other facilities. So if you are a microbusiness licensee and you're proud of your facility, even if you're not ATO yet, I'm more than happy to come for a visit and see what's going on in your area of the world. Please reach out to me at leslie.turek@health.mo.gov.
Yeah, and just want to plug this in here too, is all of the stuff that I was talking about, the liaison and my position.
Yeah.
Lesley is a mirror of that for the micro business licensees as well. So all that list of services that I talked about before, Lesley's all those things with micro business too. But she also serves as the chief equity officer. So when those applications start opening up and things like that, she'll be providing all the education for that. Anyway, just wanted to plug that in there.
I'm also known as the microbusiness mom.
Oh.
Just so everyone knows.
We should get you a t-shirt.
I don't think so. Okay, I think that's all I have. I don't
All
have
right.
anything else.
All
Thanks,
right.
Lesley, for
Thanks,
being
Lesley.
here. See you next
Thank you.
month.
Bye.
Bye.
So now, I don't know, this is really fun today. We're getting to interview each other.
It's true. Now it's your turn.
That's one of the reasons I love having you as my co-host, is because you are in the know about all of the patient and application services, which brings us to our next topic. We are talking about
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
no.
dun. Patient allotment.
recently at one of our MCRC meetings, which is our collaborative work group, a licensee asked if there's a way for patients to look up or find out where they are with their patient allotments so they can find out how much they have left to purchase. And I think you're going to give me the scoop on this.
I am. Yes. And Tara, I love when I can say yes to things. And this is one of them. There is a way for patients to look up their own allotment.
Yay!
Right? So every patient uses the online registry portal when they apply and to manage their patient ID card. Recently, there was a feature added to the ID card dashboard that is linked directly to Metric, and it will display how much remaining allotment that ID card has. To access this, patients will log into the Complia website. Once logged in, you'll click License Dashboard that's on the left, and then click on the PAT number of the ID card so that it opens to that ID card dashboard. Once you're there, there's information displayed all across the top. It includes the card number, which is the PAT number. It includes the expiration dates of the card, and now it includes remaining allotment. Something important that I want to share about how the remaining allotment displays is that there's 2 numbers present. There's a top number that is remaining number in grams, and that is for flower specifically. Then there's a second number, and that is the remaining amount in grams that are specific to the other types of marijuana products. So things like edibles, concentrates, infusions. When you first log in, you'll see those 2 numbers, and it does have them labeled grams in flower and then grams in THC. So that's the difference, is the top one is specific for flower and that bottom is for edibles, tinctures, anything that's infused. So main takeaway is top numbers for flower, bottom numbers for THC. Really cool. These numbers update within minutes of a purchase. But if not, there's also a refresh button next to those remaining amounts. So if you have just made a purchase and you look on your dashboard and you don't see that reflected, hit the refresh button. It updates in nearly real time, but if you are standing in front of the cash register when you check, it might take a minute or 2 to catch up on that remaining allotment amount. Dispensaries, as you said, should also be able to provide that remaining balance, but our hope is with adding this feature to the online registry portal that patients will feel more empowered ahead of purchasing and not need to make a trip just to see how much allotment they have left. As a reminder about allotment in general, It's based on a 30-day rolling period, meaning that it's based on the purchase date, not on a set monthly date that everybody's allotment renews. So, for example, if my first purchase is made on September 10th, the amount that I purchased that day will be added back to my available allotment on October 10th. So that was a lot of information in a really short time. So if you're a patient or a facility and you need help locating this feature, you have questions, you want to hear again the difference between the two numbers that are there, give the individual licensing unit a ring or an email. We are always happy to help talk you through that. They can be reached at cannabis.mo.gov or in the call center at 1-866-219-0165.
That is really great information, and I'm glad that that's accessible and that new feature is available. That'll be really handy for patients to be able to look that up and know before they go.
Yeah. And I think it is just another really good example of how we take feedback that it's given to us and we see what we can do with it. And we realized, this is an opportunity to help get that information to the patient specifically. So we're really excited that it's live, and we hope everyone else is too.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much. Okay, so now it's time for some general updates.
Excellent. Here we go.
There is some great news. The retroactive agent fingerprinting process is 65% complete at the time of this recording. In September, October, and November, DCR will send fingerprint submission requests to agent ID card holders who were approved May 1, 2023 through January 30th, 2024. Again, card holders who were approved between May 1st, 2023 and January 30th, 2024. The remaining schedule for this project is posted to the DCR website. We want to thank everyone for your cooperation as we've moved through this process, as well as our staff. We look forward to wrapping this project up in the coming months. That's huge. Woo.
Okay, it is nearly renewal time for patients, caregivers, and facilities. This is the first time that patients and caregivers have renewed since the rule change back in 2022. So, here are a few reminders. Patients will need to meet with their certifying physician or nurse practitioner for a new physician certification form. Once your practitioner has submitted the physician certification form, patients then have 30 days to submit their patient renewal application to DCR. Renewing caregivers must submit a new patient authorization form with their renewal, and the associated patient ID card must still be active. As a reminder to all, there is no longer a residency requirement when applying for a patient or caregiver renewal. You'll still need to submit a digital photo and a government-issued photo ID, but no proof of residency is required. Both patients and caregivers can renew up to 60 days early, or at any time after the ID card has expired. You should receive reminder emails from the online registry portal once the renewal window opens. There are tutorials and frequently asked questions available on our website, and the individual licensing unit staff are all here to help. Call us if you have questions or if you need assistance navigating the online registry portal. You can reach us at cannabis.info@health.mo.gov or in the call center at 1-866-219-0165. For facility renewals that are also coming up, facilities can submit their renewals up to 90 days before the expiration date. As a reminder, facilities are not allowed to submit any changes with their renewal. Other pending update applications will not be impacted by a renewal, and facility renewals should only consist of the application and the application fee. For facility renewals, the FAS team is available to help. Call or email us if you have questions with a facility renewal. We can be reached at cannabisfas@health.mo.gov or in the call center, 1-866-219-0165. And lastly, the DCR call center has launched a new customer satisfaction survey. We are very excited about this. We're actually the 5th call center in the state to have this. So when someone calls into the call center, they'll be asked to opt in for the survey at the beginning. Then once the call is complete, the caller will receive a text message with a link to the survey. We really look forward to your feedback, and we anticipate that any comments submitted will be used to make further improvements to the customer experience.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for all those updates. Those are all really important things to remember that are coming up.
We have an exciting fall ahead of us.
I know. And speaking of which, this fall will be our 12th episode.
Whoa.
Yeah. Be looking out for episode 12 of season 1. That'll be our final episode for 2025. I'm not sure which month that'll be coming out in, but we're working on having that season finale coming out soon. So I think that's about it for today. Keep up between episodes. There are several ways to stay informed. Subscribe to our email list to receive emails from DCR on various topics and customize them to your needs. Go to cannabis.mo.gov and click on Join Our Email List under Contact Information. The Cannabis Connection newsletter is published quarterly, your information link to Missouri's Division of Cannabis Regulation. For outreach events and more, visit cannabis.mo.gov and click on the DCR Communication and Resource tile.
All right. Well, thanks again, Tara. Thanks for letting me interview you and kind of take you out of your comfort zone. I'm looking forward to the next time when we wrap up season 1 and launch ourselves into season 2.
Yep. All right. I'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast content is intended for adults over the age of 21 years old and is best to be used for informational purposes only. The content does not constitute official compliance or regulatory guidance. The department and author assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this podcast. The information contained in this podcast is provided on an as-is basis with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness. Cannabis licensees should consult with their assigned compliance officer for rules and regulations specific to their facility. The content is not intended to diagnose or treat any medical condition and should not be relied on for any medical purposes. Patients and the public should consult with their healthcare providers about medical-related questions and the impact of cannabis on health. If you believe you are having a medical emergency, call emergency services. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed herein are those of the authors, presenters, and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by, the U.S. government, Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, or the government of the state of Missouri.